Hey guys, welcome to Not So Random Chat, the nighttime live stream where we talk about whatever we want to. So, settle in and grab you a libation. It could be your wine or tea or coffee or whatever you want to drink. And let's just sit back and chill. I'll be with you in a moment. Are you guys ready? Okay, well, so am I. So let's get into it. Here I come. Hola, from the west side. Hold on, you guys. Let me just get myself on camera. Just a second. Get myself on camera. All right, me. There we go. Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Drinking a little coffee right now. And got me some water. Hey, Miss Mahogany. And got me a little Pinot Grigio. So, I want to start out my conversation tonight, talking about what everybody has been talking about. Oh, from the toxic behavior. I understand, sis. So, everyone has been talking about Jay Black, Sharif Black, whichever name you want to call him, Baltimore guy. And there's been the scenario that both the ex-girlfriend and the ex-wife were non-Black. That's not true. So, we've been doing this spin, people talking about him being with his exoticos and, and that they don't get any better treatment than us Black women. The ex-wife was an African-American or Black woman. She was 42 years old. If you take a look at my community tab, shouts out to, what's her name? Leandra TV for showing the real picture. I don't know if y'all can see that, but that's him. That's him. It's like, it's going kind of crazy. Let me see. There we go. And that's her. Flip back a little bit. But that's the ex-wife. And so it would be the ex-wife who had indicated that there had been some touching of the children. And they're probably not going to let me monetize this one, but we're going We're going to try to maneuver through this. But what I know as a Black woman, as part of Black society, we don't normally talk about Pedialytes. We don't talk about any of that stuff that happens in the family. We generally keep it to ourselves. And so the fact that his Black ex-wife had these concerns leads me to think that there may or have been some validity to it. Something made her think that. That's all I'm saying. And she was also a CRNA, which means matter of fact, it seems that all the women that he dated were CRNAs like himself. They met in the operating room, working with the anesthesiologist. And I've watched, I watched some of this stuff now. Shouts out to Sister George and the Concrete Rose. They had a discussion earlier today on a woman's perspective. And, there were a couple of guys that got up there that were trying to justify his actions, and they just blew off the allegations of him being a Pedialyte as not even being true. They didn't even give any validity to it. And it was doing that live that I did let them know that the ex-wife was a Black woman. So once again, a Black woman cried out to the courts because she's the one who was trying to get protective orders and all of this stuff and was denied because nothing had happened. And now she's deceased. And the coward is deceased as well. A serious POS. Serious. So now, manosphere. All of it, and I'm not, and I'll say to all of the women who have been thinking that this was exoticals. Hey, 1SP. Hey, 22 thing. How do you guys look at this now that you know that the ex-wife, the mother of his children, was a Black woman? And so this is a case of DV for us. And I mean, I think you guys, if you didn't see my my coffee talk series on DV in October, I talked about, was it the coffee talk series? Yeah, it was on the coffee talk series. I talked about how we as Black women have one of the highest percentages of DV. And yet and still we make up what? A small portion of the actual population in this country. Black women are more of a minority than Black men. There's fewer of us than there are of Black men. Don't let them tell you that they out there, they just may not be looking to be with us. Yes, 1SP, I can't say the words. I can't say the words. So I have to use the initials. But this man, I don't know if you guys have seen, but now they've got one of his other ex-girlfriends
coming out saying that when she was dating him, and they dated for about a year, that he was dealing with depression, but he would not go get any help. And that was one of the reasons why she broke off the relationship with him, for her own sanity. You know, and I think this is another relationship that may have happened in this 3-year span that he's been fighting with his ex-wife. I don't know. I mean, I cannot see a Black woman, I'm sorry, putting that on a man who's the father of her children, unless she had some reason to suspect it was true, unless she had some suspicions. Now, maybe it was a misunderstanding, but there was something. There was something, you guys. For her to accuse him of being a Pedialyte with his own children. And they had 2 daughters. They have 2 daughters. We were left behind with 2 little Black girls who are going to grow up knowing that their father killed their mother and then killed himself. That's how they're going to grow up. Now, thankfully, I guess he parked the car in the parking lot, and he actually went into the house, into her residence, and took her life before taking his own life in her front vestibule. And we're watching all of these men over in the manosphere who are saying, that, women can't be playing these games with men about their kids. But I don't think she was playing any game. I don't think she was playing any game with this man. I think that his ex-wife, Wendy, thought that there was something there. Hey, Mr. Will. Mental health is real. This man, I don't know what was going on in his head. From what we know, he did not grow up with his parents. He was raised by an aunt and an uncle. And he didn't have much family to speak of. But apparently in his marriage, there were charges that were dismissed or dropped in regards to DV. And then we also have something where the ex-wife had written that she was terrified of what he would do to her and what he would do to their children. She feared for her life. And they still denied her protective in the state of Maryland. Good job, Maryland. Good job. Now, I grew up in the DMV. She lives out in Columbia. Columbia is considered part of the DMV because they're not really considered the Baltimore part. They're kind of closer to DC, about 30 minutes outside of the city. I have an ex-boyfriend that lived in Columbia from high school. He lives out here in California now, as a matter of fact. But, Columbia is one of the areas where the Blacks that live in Columbia are what you would consider probably upper middle class. But, there are a lot of Blacks that live in Columbia, Maryland. So it's not surprising, that she lived in Columbia, Maryland. Because a lot of people when they move out of the city, they move out to areas like that. I think Columbia is in Howard County, which is like one of the counties between DC and Baltimore, which is, and Baltimore County. Now you have the city of Baltimore and then you have Baltimore County, separate. Hey, Gen X. But I want to see how I guarantee you that these men in the manosphere are going to still blame the women. And now that we are establishing that the ex-wife was a Black woman and not not Asian or non-Black, they're going to even use that to even more. Because in this man's video, when he put it out, he said she was the root cause of his issues. Not what was ever going on with him, because clearly this was something that he had been dealing with for years. It didn't just start with his ex-wife. And this man didn't have nobody to talk to but the internet. And he used manosphere talking points. And here's another thing that I want to bring up. And this was brought up, this has been brought up in several other streams in regards to this. Just about this, killing oneself and Black men. This is not the norm. They don't normally, we don't normally take ourselves out of here. Our men don't normally take themselves out of here. Now, in this situation, this man, that was just a coward move. He just didn't want to face up and be accountable for what he had done. But there are other situations where we are finding, Black men who are just taking themselves out of here. And something is wrong. What is going on? That's not something that we do. Normally it's, the others that are doing this stuff, Something happens, they realize that they're going to be broke, so they kill themselves and the whole family. We don't normally do stuff like this. And I'm just baffled by that. Let me see. They interviewed his ex-girlfriend. She said, exactly, because he would not get help. Exactly, Gen X. That's what I was talking about. She left him. She was with him for a year. And she had to leave him because he would not get help. And he knew he needed help. This should have never come to this. This should have never come to this man taking out those two women and leaving his children parentless, orphans, wards of the state. Hopefully she has some family. But I don't know if you guys noticed, until today, and I know this only happened a couple of days ago, but it was like they were suppressing the information about the wife. We just kept seeing stuff about the ex-girlfriend because she was a non-Black. And, I kept hearing that, no, the wife was Black. But people kept saying, no, they were both exoticals. No, they weren't. So this was not, even though he was on those manosphere talking points at one point, you know, he was in a relationship with a Black woman. And the ex-girlfriend who spoke out, even though they didn't show her face or give her name, was clearly a Black woman. So the premise that this was that he was a divester, I don't think that's true. I think he just liked who he liked, and he basically dated women who were in the same field as him. Because if you guys know anything about in the medical field, you know, the kind of crazy hours that they're working when they're working in surgery, you don't really have a lot of time to socialize with people who, other than the people that you work with. So it's not surprising that both his ex-wife and the ex-girlfriend both were people who worked in the same field as him, in the same profession. Which means neither one of them were hurting for money. Because CRNAs make they make six figures, okay? That is a surgical type of nurse. That is like, they're like, oh, thank you so much, Mocha. It does. It really, 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 really does. Hey, Hamlin. But that profession, none of them were making little bits of money. So all of the, you know, so we know that the entire fight between him and his ex-wife was about their children. She feared that he would do something to the kids, along with herself. Sadly, he was going through a nasty, I know that they said that there was no proof. And what I'm saying in regards to that, hey, old head. And what I'm saying in regards to that is that, you know, we know culturally, we do not normally bring that into situations. So what I'm saying, I'm not saying that he did anything. I'm saying something must have happened that made her think that he had. You know, because that's a serious allegation. You know, I hope to God that it wasn't true. I hope to God that that was not true. But we'll never know. We'll never know. But, you know, based on the time that they were married, those children they're under both of these. We're talking about little girls. We're not talking about, you know, older. We're talking about probably like around 4 or 5 years old. But please believe, some of this is going to hit them, even though they did not actually see what happened. Losing your parents at this young age, and if they don't find out until they get older, they're still gonna be in therapy for years. You know, but I mean, let me just say, when I was going through my divorce from my ex-husband, there was DV involved. You know, but when we were going to court, our whole fight was all about our son. And it was not about, you know, him being able to see his son or anything, because I didn't play that game. I didn't play that game. The issue was he didn't want to pay the child support. And he felt that what I was asking for in child support was too much. So then we went to court, and he found out he had to pay more. So then he quickly agreed to what I had asked for. Of course, he never paid it, though. I think the last time he paid his son, because he really wasn't paying me, paid his son any money. My son was 16. My son is 26 now. Okay, he's 26. But but it would never even cross my mind to say anything like that. And I got a kid who has autism, and all growing up, my fear was that if somebody ever touched him, he might not be able to tell me that they had. But thankfully, nothing like that ever happens with my son. And his father was not that kind of twisted person. And I'm not saying I believe that this man was that type of twisted person. I'm just my only thought is that we know in our community we don't bring this up. We don't bring these kind of allegations up against unless there is some reason to think it. Very rarely do you see this brought up in our community. Let me see what you say. Yes, the children were found in the car out in the parking lot, away from where he committed the act. Thank God. But, I'm not sure how old they are, but they had to be, like 4 or 5 maybe. They're obviously not giving out the ages of the children. But I just find it very interesting that it took several days for us to confirm that the ex-wife was a Black woman. And you can find it out on this, I think per Leandre, because that's where I found it here on YouTube. She found it on these websites that deal with Black femicide and Black women being, shot. But when I heard the woman's name, Wendy Natalie, I'm like, that sounds like a Black woman. I just felt like the ex-wife was a Black woman, and she is. Was, unfortunately. So this was not a divested man. I guess he just dated women in his profession, and he didn't have any boundaries. It didn't matter what the woman was, but clearly he had some effing issues going on. Now I know they have all these other women who were around him who said he was such a nice guy and everything, but then you have the one ex-girlfriend who clearly knew there was something going on with this dude. And I don't think that it was just the situation going on with the ex-wife. That may have been the straw that broke the camel's back. But I think the straw that broke the camel's back was the ex-girlfriend saying that she was going to keep him from seeing his kid. And that she was going to, because of those other allegations. The whole situation it's another DV case where Black lives are gone and Black children are left in trauma. Lost both of their parents. You can look on my community tab. I actually show the thumbnail from Leandre TV's video that she put out earlier today. And, you know, clearly the wife was a black woman. I don't know why that information wasn't out quicker. But, you know, there's no laws out there currently protecting us from being killed. There's laws out there for killing other people, other ethnicities, but not us. Not us. Not us. Let me see what you guys are saying. Exactly, Mr. Will. And see, my whole thing is that there had to be another way that this man could have handled all of this. He just effing snapped. Never took care of what was going on inside his head. You know? And we don't know if he was self-medicating, because a lot of, you know, people will self-medicate. He just wanted to blame someone. That's what I think too. Because I tell you, when they start digging into all of this stuff, I bet you they're going to find that there was a history of stuff going on with this man prior to the ex-wife. You know, we're not gonna sit here and blame the black woman for this black man's crazy ass actions. We're not gonna do that. We're not doing that. But I know the manosphere guys, they are going to jump on that, because you see, for the last 2 days, most of them didn't know that. We've now brought it to their attention, and they immediately started putting the blame on her. Not saying what he did was right, but no. It's not on her. It's on this black man who had some serious emotional issues going on with him. He didn't grow up with a father, you know, with parents. We don't know what kind of effect, you know, his childhood had on how this man acted as an adult. And he seemed to be, you know, pushing himself into that manosphere space because of some of the talking points that he was making. And I really hope that he didn't have some fools over there talking in his ear leading up to this tragic event. But I don't think he was talking to anybody. I think he was just talking to himself. And himself is what told him to go do this crazy-ish that he did. %, it went like 2020 was a horrible. 2019 and 2020 were really bad years for us, and it's just and it's like every year, more and more of us are being murdered by someone we consider a partner. What did I just kick over? Oh, okay. Just making sure I didn't kick anything over down here, y'all. Let me drink my wine. It's still chilled, as a matter of fact. It's just sitting over there, nice and chilled. I know that they're going to talk about it. I'm just waiting, because I'm usually up in the clouds in a lot of their chats. The only person so far I've heard who I've heard, say something about it, not knowing anything about the women, was DS1. And I think you guys saw that I posted that 2 days ago, his live stream from 2 days ago. And he said what I think, this is some demonic stuff going on. I mean, we don't shoot ourselves. We don't take ourselves out. And I'm talking about our Black men. Don't do that. That ain't how we do it. And maybe this is more to deal with how we deal with our own mental health as a community. We have a lack of trust for therapists, and in some situations, rightfully so, because a lot of times, depending on who the therapist is, it's not a healthy experience for the Black man. It's not. Sometimes, the therapist, jumps in on the blame game in therapy. Hey, Rob. But there's no excuse for this man killing his ex-girlfriend and then coming online and saying that his Black ex-wife was the root of all his problems, and today was the day. She was next. And then commencing to murder her, and then take his POS self out of here. All right, thank you, Mr. Will. Thank you for coming through, sir. I appreciate it. This is just crazy, you guys. And I'm just telling y'all, I'm telling y'all the same thing that my sis Bayou Bunny said. Black women, y'all better get yourselves into a position to be able to protect yourselves. Your lives are in danger. Our lives are in danger. And sadly, the one who's killing us is our partners. And most times, our partners are a Black man. Because see, we so loyal that we don't generally date out. I'm just saying the truth, y'all. You don't see a whole bunch of Black women who are in relationships with people of another race that end up dead. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because there's a couple of them that happen, but then that's more in the rich and famous case, because I know there's a case of a Black socialite who ended up dead in Florida, and her husband was non-Black. So I'm not saying that it's just, Black men, but the majority of the time it is, because that's who we're normally with. Okay? Majority of us have not divested. The majority of us do not date outside of our race. And that's, for the most part, I think because a lot of Black women just may not be comfortable. They're more comfortable dating within the race. That's what they know. And, they just don't want to. And my preference is a Black man. I'm not going to lie about that. But if it was a matter of life and death, I think I would have to be someplace else. And for some Black women, that is what it's going to have to be. Don't be in a toxic relationship just to be in a relationship with someone who looks like you. You know? And I'm not saying that to say that we are toxic together, because y'all know that's not what I believe. But sometimes we are. And that something was going on with this particular person. And I believe that the issues were there before the ex-wife. That something happened before them. Whatever happened to him in his life before that. Not making any excuses for him, but I'm just saying that it didn't start with his ex-wife. You know, and he, in my opinion, took no accountability. That's why he killed himself. He didn't want to take accountability because he knew he was going to go to prison. And he said, I'm not going to prison. After I kill her, I'm going to kill myself too. So that's pretty much premeditated, you know. Maybe the first one wasn't premeditated, but I don't know, because they said he kicked in the door. He kicked in the door of the ex-girlfriend. So obviously, in my opinion, that was premeditated. Even if he only thought about it for a minute. And he left there with the plan to go kill the wife. So that definitely was premeditated. And I guess, I guess he figured that once he had shot the girlfriend, that his life was over. Because that basically, even if he had not gone and done that, what he did to his ex-wife, he was never going to see his kids because he had just killed this other woman. This man wasn't thinking straight. This man was on a rage binge. It wasn't because he didn't have a good life. Now, granted, he had probably spent a pretty penny in court in the last couple of years fighting back and forth about his kids. But you put all that money into trying to get your kids, only to do everything to not be able to be with your kids. And in the process, take away the other person who would look out for them. So now who's going to look out for your children? Who's going to look out for his kids now? Those children. Those two little baby little girls. Those two little pretty black girls. I pray that what their father did does not have an impact on how they see men growing up. And I really pray that they are young enough that it doesn't have as much of a what happened, that they aren't, at the age where it's going to haunt them every night. This is crazy, okay? And I know everybody was like hoping that it wasn't, that nobody was black, but sorry, not sorry. I knew Because, see, this is what I'm going to tell y'all about, that part of the country. I know, interracial dating is like a big thing and normal and but in that part of the country, the Maryland, DC, Virginia area around DC and out to Baltimore, it's not as much. So it's since it's more common now. But what I'm saying is it's not like LA. Okay? It's not like LA where it's very common. Like extremely common out here. Your hope is that. I hope that a loving family member, I hope there is someone to take those girls in and protect them. And I hope that their privacy and their identities are hidden as long as possible. I really, really do hope that information is hidden as long as possible for those little girls. But you guys, back to what I was saying. Black women need to, if we need to be able to protect ourselves, because you got some men out there, especially coming up on what is it now? That time of the year. It's that time of year where you're gonna have the dusties trying to find a place to stay and trying to find a punani to be in. And some of them might try to take that by force. Ladies, if you are, I say exercise your Second Amendment rights if you can. And if you're not comfortable exercising your Second Amendment rights, then there are other non-lethal measures you can take to protect yourself. I'm just telling y'all. I'm just saying it. I've been saying it. Especially if you are an L7 in the eyes of the law, like never been arrested, don't have no record whatsoever. What you waiting for? Especially if you live here in California, like where I am, because the governor of California is trying to put in a law here in California that is similar to the Texas law in regards to abortions. He's trying to put something here in regards to guns, where private citizens will sue people over guns. So if you live in state California, exercise your Second Amendment right quickly. If you are eligible to. And if you're in a stand your ground state, well, what the heck are you waiting for? Like, you should already be ready if you're in a stand your ground state. You see what you're saying? It's a lot of stuff going on. I know, that's what I'm saying. It's the DMV is not an area that you have this high rate of interracial dating. But I get it. This man dated who he was around. And in the medical field, especially that there's not as many of us in that anymore. But there's a lot of Black women who are nurses, registered nurses in that age range. But You also have a lot of Filipinos, which is what we believe the ex-girlfriend was. A lot of Filipinos in the medical field. So I think he was dating who he was around. I don't think he had any preferences. I really don't. So, we're not going to put this out to him being into exoticals. I just think he had some problems, and he put off all his problems on to what he was going through with his ex-wife, and decided that she was the problem. She was the problem. Okay? So anyway, you guys, I know I'm a little short of an hour, but I don't know about y'all, but this kind of stuff is so triggering to me. It is so triggering to me, and I just feel like we're gonna continue to see this going on. We are going to continue to see black men snapping and doing something crazy like this. And we're going to continue to see our sisters being taken out of here at the hands of their partners. Are you coming in here to say hi? Or did you just come in? Y'all saw him just walk in and walk out? Did you want to say hi? Okay, say hi. Wait. Say hi, y'all. Hi. All right. Okay. Y'all. This is just crazy, y'all. But I'm telling you, black women, wake up, because they quickly got out here about the woman who wasn't black, but it took 2 days for us to find out that about the wife who was. Like, why was that information suppressed? Why was her identity suppressed? Why did it take us 2 days to find that out? I'm just saying, if I truly believe, I truly believe that if he had only killed his ex-wife, we wouldn't have heard about this. We would not have heard about this. I think we heard about it because he killed the other woman too. Sadly to tell you that, but that's what I believe. I believe that we would not have heard about it if he had only killed the ex-wife. I mean, it wouldn't have made the national news, so to speak. Yeah, he went on Facebook. There might have been a little mention about it because, it was just another black woman. But I think because he killed this other woman as well, and rest in peace to both of these women, because neither one of them should be gone. In the process of killing the ex-girlfriend, he also killed his unborn child. Let's not forget that. So he killed a black child too, biracial or not, black child. Y'all, I just want to see how these people are going to be. I'm going to watch how these manosphere dudes try to spin this. And I'm also going to watch, the divester chicks too. I'm going to see how they handle this too. Because, up until today, everybody was thinking that this was two exoticals. Now we know that it was not. Now we know that this was still another case of a black woman being murdered by her partner, her ex-partner, which is typically the case. She got away from this man but couldn't get away from this man. All right, y'all. I will be back on Friday. I did put out my holiday blues video, and there was a portion that I was not able to put in that holiday blues that I'm going to do another daily thoughts on, strictly on that, and that's on SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder. It has to do with, as the seasons, between fall and winter, because of the lack of not having as much sunlight, it affects people. So I'm going to do a daily thoughts just on that one by itself, because if I had added that into the one that I did, it would have been more. It wouldn't have been like a 9 to 10 minute video. It would have been like a 10 to 20 minute video. So I'm going to do that. You guys should be getting the Christmas tree put up. I should have that edited and up by tomorrow. And then I should have the Amazon gift that's going under the Christmas tree. Well, sorry, it's going under the Christmas tree. I should have that one out hopefully by Friday. And then I'll be kind of caught up, because I still owe you like 2 more videos. I'm trying to get them edited and out, y'all. Just pray for me on that. But I will be back on live on Friday. It's already scheduled. Hopefully I won't change it from 9:30. Maybe I'll try to come on earlier than that, but probably not. Next week I will probably do my lives. Next week I will probably do them earlier, because I'm on vacation next week, y'all. I'm on vacation again. Yep, I'm on vacation again. I'm off all of next week. So yeah, I might try to do some other stuff for you guys. But I'll see you guys on Friday. Until Friday, I'll offer you guys peace and blessings from the West Side. Hopefully on Friday, I'll be talking about something much, much more nicer than talking about the sadness within our community with Black women losing their lives at the hands of their partners. Anyway, you guys, I'll see you on Friday. I'm out of here. Peace. Bye, y'all.
Well, guys, that's it for tonight's Not So Random Chat. But I'll see you guys the next time. Until then, peace and blessings from the West Side. I'm out. Peace.